the common thread is that it's happening to Indigenous people.
When I first created this platform, I created it as a notice for people who are interested in immigrating to Canada. As a daughter of immigrants born here, still have my dual citizenship and still go home quite regularly. The reason why I created that was because there was a major misrepresentation of what Canada is and what is happening to us when we get here. But something I have also talked about quite regularly is how Canada is recruiting and weaponizing new immigrants to be weapons against the Indigenous community of this stolen land. Now, this is really important because I joined this app 3 years ago. And I was talking about it then. And I was reminding immigrants to please go and learn about the actual history. Don't just go to these immigrant, like these different immigrant assistance agencies. I can't think of the term that they use right now. I also talked about this a lot on my podcast. I believe it was between 2020 and 2022 that I had this podcast with a group of panelists, and it was called We Can Fight Like Cats If We Have to. It addressed this in many of our episodes, how we, as stolen bodies from occupied lands, are coming here based on a lie by occupiers, colonizers, and thieves. And then we get here and we are recruited and trained and coerced to be abusers and coercive controllers towards Indigenous communities. In fact, their whole intent to bring us here is a lot like Is Not, and how they continuously recruited. And when not enough unmelanated Jewish people or European Jewish people were coming, they then turned to allow and welcome the Jewish community from neighboring countries, although there was a lot of cultural erasure and other such things. Which, needless to say, this happens here. Because you are penalized for your cultural practices all the time in this land that is stolen. That you are being stolen from your land in order to keep stealing the land, because they can't keep repopulating it themselves. They have to recruit you into their ways and convince you to uphold the system. And so if you haven't been paying attention since 2023, really since 1946, and I know what year the Nakba was, and I'm well aware that that's before. But that's how far the history goes if you're going to stand up with a watermelon on your profile. The fact is, we are the original settler colony state. We are the foundation on which settler colonialism is modeled, whether that is the country that is not real, or whether it's this stolen land that is no more real, because we exist on top of an already existing nation. You need to think critically. You need to think critically about these things so that you are not weaponized and coerced into being as evil as they are. Because it is intentional. If you don't get it yet, that's why they brought you here. Not because you're intelligent, not because you're talented, not because there's anything special about you, but because you took and bought the lie. And just as they allowed for the disturbances and civil unrest in your motherland, they're doing that here too. It's how they persuaded you to come here in the first place. Do you feel the discomfort yet?